An idle mind is the devil's playground. When your mind has nothing to do, it starts thinking negative thoughts. And when you have too much free time, it actually can make you feel more anxious, or myself feel more anxious. And usually we feel happiness after doing something productive. Like, remember that last time you forced yourself to clean your room or clean the bathroom, or do something that was productive around, or create some content, or get to freaking work, right? And we feel productive after that. We feel good and productive after forcing ourselves to do something that was hard because we're using God's gifts to our advantage, right? So you earned your rest that day. And that's so important because when we, for example, the idle mind is the devil's playground. What it means is that when we have a still mind, when we have a mind where we're doing nothing, that's where the devil starts to creep in. And that's where our thoughts start to become more and more unhealthy, right? Anxiety thoughts. We're in a pandemic where a lot of people cannot sit alone with their thoughts, which is unfortunate. And we're in an era where if we sit alone for too long, the thoughts that creep in around going on our phone and scrolling for hours because we have nothing to do, or gossiping, hanging out with our friends and gossiping because we have nothing to do, or going to the gas station and getting an energy drink, because we have nothing to do, or those bad habits, watching TV, watching things online that we shouldn't watch. They creep in when we have an idle mind. And when we have a mind that's still, that means that we don't have energy in motion and we don't feel accomplished through the day. And that's why people right now, like myself, my past version of myself, I used to wake up more tired than I went to bed. And I'd get a full 8 hours, 10 hours sometimes of sleep. And sometimes, years ago, I would wake up more tired than I went to bed. I'm like, how is that even possible? Because I have those friends that are just so energized and they're always ready to go and they're always doing something. Every time I call them, they're at the store, grocery shopping, they're at the gym, they're on their next adventure, side quest, zip lining, or something crazy. You know those friends that always are doing something. I'm like, what is the difference between them? Like, she slept 6 hours last night and she's high as hell on life. And I'm like, what is the difference between them and myself years ago? And it was that they didn't have an idle mind. They put to-do lists together of what they needed to do, morning routines, evening routines on what they needed to do the next day. So they're always busy. And when you're always busy, when you're always working on something and doing something, we're using God's gifts to our advantage. We're using what God gave us naturally to work. And that's why we find fulfillment. When we do hard things and do things through the day, or we go on a hard hike, or we go on a run, or go to the gym like we said we were going to do, or work on our business, or just do the habits and the morning routines and the afternoon and evening routines that we told ourselves that we would do, and we feel so accomplished after. We feel so good after, because simply the science behind that is literally using God's gifts to our advantage, using God's gifts as He gave us to use. And when we use God's gifts correctly, He rewards us with more gifts. He rewards us with happiness and a higher frequency. And that's why after you clean something and you actually work on something and do hard work on something, you put energy, attention, and focus on something, right? And you accomplish it. That's where you feel so good. But on the flip side, when we don't have anything to do, which is most of society right now, past version of myself, I had nothing to do for the day. And it led me to getting the thought to just go scroll. The devil sent that thought to go scroll. And I would for hours. I'd waste 5-10 hours a day during COVID scrolling because I had nothing better to do with my life. The idle mind is the devil's playground. So give your brain something to work on, or it's going to create problems on its own. We have to use our body and our brain how God blessed us to use it. And if you're someone like me watching this, where I used to wake up every morning, I used to scroll for 6 hours, I feel horrible and groggy after. I'd barely be able to get like lunch in the freaking microwave or the frozen pizza in the oven to cook and then eat. And then I'd barely get to work on time. I'd get back home from work by like 9 and I'd scroll again because I had nothing to do with my life. And if you're kind of in that boat as well, something similar where you wake up on a Saturday or Sunday even, and you got nothing to do, you got to sit down the night before and plan that out, plan the next day out. Imagine if you planned out your morning routine for the next 7 days, or your permanent morning routine moving forward, and you actually started to accomplish that. Energy starts to get in motion. And when energy is motion, same way as a plane taking off. Plane takes off, it's harder for it to stop than actually keep going, right? But it's very hard for it to actually take off, getting that initial momentum. It needs the most energy. And it's the same way as human beings. We need a ton of energy and effort to get that morning routine rolling the first day. First momentum spike, right? The first amount of energy put into that and actually accomplishing that. But once we get off the ground, we go a week and we get that momentum, and it spirals into the next week and the next week. We'll naturally become more productive people, and we'll naturally have better habits, and we'll naturally achieve more goals in life, and we'll naturally start to adapt from the lower version of ourselves to the highest version of ourselves, because we're simply using God's gifts to our advantage. And that's the power of getting up and moving. That's the power of a morning routine. It can change your life, because it's not just giving you a healthy morning routine, maybe the matcha in the morning, that nice healthy breakfast, maybe the gym. It's not just doing that. Of course it is. But same time, it's helping you get that energy and momentum to actually do something with your life, right? Most of America is the opposite. They don't have any energy. They're waking up more tired than they went to bed. There's no purpose, right? And there's a lack of energy and purpose simply because you haven't even started anything. You haven't gotten that momentum and energy that keeps compounding and going and going and going. And I'll be real with you. I used to be like that, definitely. But I just started with one thing every day. And then compounded to 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5. And then I have a whole to-do list that I'm accomplishing every single day. I feel so good. I feel alive, and I feel ready because I'm using that energy that God naturally blessed me with and gave me with, that work He put me out to do. And I'm doing it, and I'm accomplishing it, and I'm being rewarded for it. I'm feeling good from it, and I'm accomplishing things in life, and it's moving forward into my goals, and I'm achieving my goals and my dream body and my dream income, and that's how it starts to spiral, and it starts with one thing. And if you don't set that morning routine and those goals and a to-do list before you go to bed, right, every night for the next day, an idle mind is the devil's playground. The devil's going to slither in and shoot you a thought, and you're going to take action on that thought around scrolling, around doom scrolling, watching TV all day, doing bad habits that you've indulged in the past. That's it. If you have nothing to do, the devil's just going to sneak in. And my aunt told me that when I had a best friend, and I still do. She's still my best friend growing up. And I'd go to her house, and she's my cousin. And we would always try to find something to do there, like play a card game growing up, or watch this, or do this, or play outside. We try to do something and do some activity through the day. But I remember those moments that we were bored and we're like, we have nothing to do, and we'd complain to her mom, my aunt, we have nothing to do. She'd be like, shh, don't say that. Don't you dare say that in my household. She's like, that's a sin. And I never understood that until recently when I was hit with this quote. And the power of that. And she was so right. She's so right. The devil creeps in when you're bored. The devil creeps in when you have nothing to do. She was right. Stop and go find something to do, she'd say always. And I was always like, wow, why is that a sin? That's not a sin. It is a sin. The devil will creep in, and it'll be much easier for you to sin. The devil will creep in, and it is a sin not using God's gifts He's given us to our advantage, right? To His advantage, using them how we're given them to use. And when we don't use God's gifts that He's blessed us with, that's where the devil sneaks in, and he sees that we don't have that connection with God, and we're not on a higher frequency. So I want you guys to take this home with you. I want you to take this into your heart and use it. Set a routine, right? Even if it's 3 things. Maybe it's waking up on time every day. Maybe it's doing a journal session every day. And maybe it's going on a walk every morning, or the gym every day. Get busy, do something, set that to-do list, and you'll notice that momentum compound and you'll start to soar. Simple.